He's Tass. It's the Metzger Tassoul Show.
All right, gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing super well. Cool intro, by the way.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. We both were surprised at that. The one time we came in, did the show, and we saw that for the first time ourselves.
Well,
that's funny. I didn't even see the intro on my end. It's interesting.
You didn't see the intro?
No.
You mean that podcast studio setup that you got doesn't have a monitor somewhere that you could watch that on?
No. I mean, I could open the glove box and see if I can, expand that monitor over there and take a look.
Love it.
Anyway, well, sir, thanks for joining us here today. And as we start sharing this across some of the different groups and stuff that we're in, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we're gonna, let everybody know who you are, what's your company, what do you do, and then we'll take it from there.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I am Kyle Craichy. I am the CEO of People Trendy. We do social media management, and so we're names in the space like specializing in martial arts and jiu-jitsu especially. But Matt Arroyo, we've done him. We took him from 3,000 followers on Instagram. He just hit 400,000 followers on Instagram alone, 200,000 on TikTok. YouTube is like at 150 now. So blew him up. Malachi Friedman, who I know is part of your crew as well there too. He's pushing 400,000 right now. We got him at 20,000. Vivek. So a lot of guys in the space and even part of this community here that we've been able to help really grow their online presence, grow their brand. And so what we specialize in is, I come from a media production background, right? So we were doing music videos, we were doing webinars, product videos, things along those lines. But the very interesting thing is kind of like an ego hit for media production or cinematographers is that a cool video, a beautiful video on social media will not do good. Like it could be the coolest video you've seen, but because of the structure and why people are on social media, what they're looking to consume while they're there, there's a disconnect. So coming from media production into social media is really, okay, not so much how do you make the video look good, but how do you structure it in a way that captures people's attention, retains people's attention, goes along with what the algorithms are expecting, what they're looking for, how to give the people what they're wanting, algorithms what they're wanting, and thus create viral growth. So we've been able to do that for some amazing people, including people in the community. We did Robert Kennedy Jr., who's running for president right now. We did his whole presidential launch for his social media. We took him when we started, he was at 700,000 something. And then we got him up to over 1.4 million. And so very cool, diverse coaches, both in sports, but also in everything from business, you name it, we've done those niches. And our absolute favorite niche to do is in martial arts, because it's just such a sweet spot for growth with the supply and demand curve of creators to consumers being so wildly skewed in favor of creators that people who are really taking advantage of this opportunity are just exploding and reaping the benefits of it.
So Kyle, let's do this. And Tass, if you hear me, I just muted you because it was just loud. So when you want to jump in, please raise your hand. Let's go back to grade school. Okay. Just signal us and we'll unmute you. Good. Okay. So Kyle, listen, let's talk to the martial arts. Let's talk to the martial arts industry for a minute as people are jumping on here. For businesses in general, you do specialize. So you mentioned some names that people may not know, right? But the names that you were mentioning, they are all martial arts school owners that you were mentioning, except I don't know if Robert Kennedy Jr. has a school or not, but the others have martial arts schools, right?
Correct.
So in the martial arts world, the number one thing that these people, that school owners want, is they want more students, right? And there's a lot of different ways and outlets to get new students. The second thing that they want is they would love to get new students as easily as possible. Now, why is it important? And let's just say again, your company, you're the CEO, your company, and you're a platinum sponsor of our event coming up, All Systems Go, of course, next week in Orlando. But your company takes content, how does it work? You'll fly in, you'll meet with a school owner, you'll film segments, you take that stuff, you put it out in a way, you present it in a way that boosts up their followers and their audience. Is that kind of right?
Yeah, correct. So we have a few different packages, but the primary one that obviously delivers the best results is we do everything for you. So if you're owning a school, there's a lot of things that you need to be doing and spending a ton of time strategizing content, thinking about it, filming it, posting it, doing all the stuff that you have to do in order to be remotely successful. It's just generally not the greatest use of the martial artist's time. So what we do is we take everything from the strategy. We talked a little bit earlier about just a cool video will not work. It has to be structured in a way that people are wanting to consume. So we reverse engineer what is performing the best in the niche on social media. How do we take the spins of what's already working and put it in the martial artist? So we call it trend jacking or stealing the hooks, right? So what hook, which is the first, for anyone who doesn't know, it's the first 3-ish seconds of a video. And that's all you have. Like social media, people are just on the constant scroll, right? So in order to hook them and stop them and say, hey, this video is something that you need to watch, the hook is the most crucial part of anything. So what we do is we bring those and we're saying, okay, what is a way, instead of, guys, yeah, I'm here today, I'm going to show you how to, escape a rear naked choke. And it's like, here's a crazy armbar you've never seen before. Like, which video are you like, okay, show me, which one are you going to want to watch there? You know what I'm saying? Like, you only have a little bit to get them. This move your professor should have taught you, but never did. Like something that's like, okay, what piques my interest in making me want to watch it? That's the first game you have to win if you want to grow there, right? So we do everything from get the hooks to fly out. We do the filming, we'll direct. Like that's the other thing is like if you leave people, the retention time of your video, which means how long does someone stay watching the video? And if it gets boring or you get rambly or ranty or you kind of go off on tangents, it'll dramatically decrease the reach. And so everything that we teach and that we do with the people that we work with is something that we also call training the algorithm. Like you have to kind of be the algorithm's friend, right? They have to know that when this guy posts, this is the community that wants to see his posts, and every post that he does is a winner. Like this community loves it. They're watching it. They're engaging with it. And so we're going to continue to move him up the hierarchy of the space. So when someone in jiu-jitsu posts, we're going to favor this guy's post, and it really grows from there. So to answer your question, we do absolutely everything from the strategy to flying out, to do the filming, to do the editing, to do the posting, the whole back end of what's working when it comes to the hashtags and the SEO and all that jazz in order to get you the best results possible while not taking up much of your time. We're able to film, 2 months worth of content in a half a day. So, give me 4 hours, your social media is taken care of for the next, 30, 60, 90 days, depending on how many we can get done in that time, which is pretty amazing.
Gotcha. Tass, did you want to say something? Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for unmuting me. Hey, Kyle. So I may put you on the spot a little bit here, right? But I'm curious to know, because he mentioned this, and we're going to go down this road. But I remember websites, and I remember a lot of times, this is 10 years ago. There's some website providers that produce some amazing, what I call ego-driven websites, right? Like you looked at it like, damn, that's a website I'm proud of. Like your whoever your picture was on it, your school was on it, it looked great. But it didn't do its job. It was not a lead capture website, right? But it looked really cool. So I'm curious, like your demographic, because I'm, very, very interested and love the results that you're getting. But I'm not going to say that Matt is an ego guy or Vivek is an ego guy. I'm just teasing. But here's my question.
But Maliki,
yeah, he's an ego guy. But Matt, he already said good-looking videos don't work on Instagram, so you and I never are going to be successful on Instagram. So I already cast myself out of that. But on a serious note, I guess the question would be this: if I'm assuming that these guys have some sort of online product that they're utilizing to monetize later. I mean, eventually the idea would be not only to have a following, right? But what's the purpose of the following? The purpose of the following is to monetize the following. Well, 200 or 400 or 500,000 views, does that help me in Appleton, Wisconsin? Or do I have to have some sort of an online product to be able to take full advantage of like services that you're offering? Does that question make sense?
It's a great question. And so, yes. And then I know you guys teach this stuff as well too. Like there's two parts of it. There's the marketing part, then there's the branding part, right? And then brand is a little bit of what you're talking about, of like, who cares if you have a ton of views and followers and people know who you are and then that, but they can't come to your jiu-jitsu school. You live in California. What do New York views get you, right? That kind of a thing. And that is true. However, it opens up many opportunities at the same time, which I think are way bigger and better and way make it worth it, right? So first of all, yes, a lot of the people do have online products, but the beauty of having a community that knows you, loves you, trusts you, right? And we'll get into the whole purpose of this is to build trust. The kinds of videos that you're making, you will not grow unless you are providing value. Correct. And so I'll get into that in a second. But to answer your question directly is yes and no. First of all, it opens up new income streams because the amount of sponsorships that you can be getting, the amount of invites you get to teach, at camps and at things along those lines open up way much because they want to attach to your name. Right. And the beauty of having the following, and this is what I love, is like everyone's goal is a little bit different. Right. But what is your goal what's the outcome that you want to have? If you have an online product, is to sell more online products. But when you have it, you could direct them whenever you want, right? So, hey, sign up for my email list now. Like, what's the point of having an email list? Yes, it's to keep going with what you're doing. It's to provide information to that. But then if you wrote a book or you had a product or you're on a TV show or you have a distribution system to put whatever that product is through it, right? So yes, a lot of school owners are contained to the four walls of their gym at the same time. And so this both has people travel. A lot of the guys that we're working with have camps that people travel to do those kinds of things. So that opens up right there. The brand deals, the sponsorships, the products that you're able to sell both to your community and in your school opens up new revenue streams. Plus, now you're getting to the point of, oh, guys, we got some followers. What do we want to do with them? And the world is really your oyster there. Like the how easy it is to create courses, to create online programs. And this is just a easy way to say, okay, we have this community. What are the parts that we can do now, not just in the four walls, in order to maximize what we're doing inside of the four walls? So does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It makes sense because I think a lot of people, that may want to do this type of thing, right? Like Metzger said, they're looking for how can we enroll people into our school, and what's the easiest way for us to do that, right? But so that may happen. You may get a bigger lift in your community, right? I know, and look, my son has done. I heard you talking to Metzger about it, his daughter. He's done some stuff, and he did some stuff on the TikTok deal and whatever, and he got known in his school, like they would call him TikTok because, he had a lot of, they saw him everywhere. Right. So there is some definite local, opportunity, I think, for that. But at the same time, I was just, curious if this is a good mechanism to get new students into your school versus, is it better to do like I think what you're trying to say is some of these brand deals and some of these things you can get may pay more in spades than the actual students you get in your school.
100% can. But also, like you mentioned earlier, like back in the day when people were doing like the ego websites, it's interesting that social media has become like a second website where oftentimes people are looking you up there even before your website, right? Like it depends if you're outbound search, but if I find 6 schools in my region and I'm like, okay, well, which one do I want to go to? Yes, you go to the websites. A lot of people, especially younger people though, are not even touching the website and they're skipping over and going to social media. And so it's another like differentiator of, man, oh dude, this guy's known, this guy's providing value already. I'm already learning from just the 30-second to 1-minute clips that are going on here. What can he teach me in a full class? What can he teach me in a seminar? What can he teach me in a camp or his online course? Now I'm ready to take the next step there. So it's giving them a taste of what they're going to get when they come to you at the same time.
Yeah, Kyle, I think those are good points. Very good points. I could see that. I never thought of it that way, right? Yeah. Younger people may not just jump to websites. They may just be looking you to see what you on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that they do. But secondly, I think that the camp thing is big. So, I'm very good friends with Maliki, and, I love his, and Matt, right? And I'm just seeing these guys, and Mr. Nakarmi for that matter. But when I see that, I could see how when you build up a following, he can run a 2-day camp coming up in the summer where people are going to want to travel to now take a 2-day camp with one of these guys or whoever's putting it out there, and how it brings you more credibility in your community. But these are the things that the school owners are going to want to know, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if I can have 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 followers and my competitor has 10, I mean, that gives me an advantage. That gives me an edge, right?
Huge advantage. Both in being seen and then also proof of concept, because that many people are knowing, liking, and trusting you and establishing you as an expert. Like a black belt establishes you as an expert, right? But then in the tier of that, now it's like, okay, shoot, not only that, but he's reaching this many people. It's social proof verified that all these people are getting value from him. I want to get value from him as well too.
So
right?
Kyle, let me ask you, let's hypothetically say I'm not on any social media. I'm not on any.
I know. I tried to tag you in something. I was like, is this him? I can't tell.
Well, my Instagram was set up by my daughter. I don't even know how to get on it. So whatever's up there.
I got you. After this, we'll talk.
But let me ask you though, if I hired you, and I'm speaking for people watching this. So if somebody were to hire you 12 months from now, like average, how many followers should I expect to have within a year?
This is a phenomenal question. And that's why I'm so excited about the space of what you guys and your listeners are operating in. Is, in my opinion, having done so many different niches and genres, this right now is the window for martial artists to grow. And like I told you, the supply and demand, but also the martial artists, as far as online goes, and I'm sure you guys have seen this, I'm curious to know your take on this as well, are kind of behind, right? Like behind in quality of production when it comes to digitally, like the qualities of the video, of not talking about like the messaging, they know what they're talking about, but the way it's delivered, the online presence, the supply and demand curve of people who, like, you have jiu-jitsu is the second fastest growing sport in America, right? Like massive amounts of people, and everyone who loves it. They want to consume the magazines and listen to podcasts and follow all the meme channels online. And that's all they want to consume, right? So it's a passionate fan base with a very limited number of creators, right? So I'm not saying this now, but and this will not be true in the next 2, 3, 4 years. But right now, I see no reason, if you're doing everything right, how you can't have hundreds of thousands of followers within the next 12 months in doing this. And I would not make that claim for any other like outside kind of niches. But in the next, I mean, we've been with Matt for less than a year. He just hit 400,000. We've been with Maliki just over a year. He's at 380,000 followers on Instagram alone, let alone all the other channels. So it really stacks up, but it's such a window. And that's the beauty too, is like, we know the formula. We've marched down the formula with different people. Vivek is in his, I believe we just started 4th month, and he just hit 75,000 followers on Instagram. Hundreds of thousands of views every single day, millions of views per month across his channels. And so now he's getting ready to release his course so that he can start funneling people over there. So it is a window of opportunity that I cannot encourage anyone listening enough. If you are a martial artist, and we work with anyone who's an expert in their niche, right? Because in order to grow, I know you're talking about your daughter, that relatable content falls under the umbrella of entertainment, right? So the big umbrella of growth, and why most jiu-jitsu school owners or martial arts school owners do not grow, is because you create content that you want to create instead of creating content that your audience wants to consume. Right. And so the only way to grow, there's only one way, is it's to provide value, right? To provide value. And there's 3 main categories across social media on how to do that. One is entertainment, which that's where your daughter would fall into, right? Where it's difficult because you're competing with so props to her. It's a difficult niche to make it in, but you're competing against every show that comes out on Netflix, every music video, every song, every comedy special, like all of it's entertainment. And you have to be more entertaining than all of that for someone to choose you, right? And then you go into the next one, which is inspiration, which that does work well. But then our absolute favorite, and this is what we work with people in, is in education, right? Because if I want to improve my jujitsu or my Muay Thai, and you are an expert in that field and you're giving me wisdom, that's the cleanest exchange of value from me as a consumer's perspective, right? So if I want to improve, you tell me how to improve, that's a great value exchange. And each time you are building trust with the consumer of, man, this guy knows what he's talking about. Oh, I've been, a mistake, a simple mistake that will take your armbar to the next level. It's like, oh man, I've been doing arm bars for a long time. I don't grab it here. I don't do this. So those little unlocks that people are doing start being, man, this guy really knows what he's talking about. I'm going to follow him. I want to consume a little more. I want to go deeper into his ecosystem, to his emails, to his courses, to his online program. I'm going to come travel to see him. And so it's a beautiful way to do value. And that also allows us to batch a bunch of content, which is a big pain point with most business owners in general, but especially in school owners, that you don't have much time to do this. So if we can batch multiple months of content in a 3 or 4 hour span, it takes both, it's like, okay, all this is value giving content that we're able to do a whole lot at one time. Whereas like your daughter, she'd have to adjust with trends and, oh, a new sound came out, let me jump on. Like it's much more of a day-to-day job to do what she's doing, as opposed to education. It's like, hey, you spent the last 10, 15, 20 years perfecting your craft and perfecting your art, right? Now, how do you craft that message into a way that people want to consume it that'll ultimately make you grow?
Yeah, that's good. We have a question here. For someone at the beginning of opening a martial arts school, at what point does it make sense to engage in your company and services?
Oh, I love this question. So if you're just opening your school, I do not think necessarily you just put a ton of money into your school. This shouldn't be the first investment that you get, because like we said, it's growing your audience. It will grow your brand. It will come back to you, but it won't come back to you as far as get more students in the door tomorrow per se. So I would first start getting students in the door. This is for expansion, and this is for brand of like, okay, now I have students. Where can I put it in next to really take this to the next level in these next upcoming months? And so that's kind of where I would do it. I wouldn't do it as step one. I'd first do, the grassroots. I'd do localized ads. I would do that first. And then as soon as that system is working, I would invest in this. And I would say that depending on how much cash on hand you have, if you can do it, being as we're in a window, the sooner you do start, the better. Because you fast forward a year from now, there might be a different supply and demand thing. You fast forward 2 years from now, there definitely will be. You fast forward 3 years, social media is literally ever changing, right? Long form content's better than short form, and then now memes. And now right now is the time to take action. If you're like, hey, I've got this, I'm ready to invest in myself. And the cool thing is, once you have it, you'll have it forever too. So most people who open their school, you're eventually going to want to open a second school. You're eventually going to have other things that are going on too. So to establish your brand right now, you can now take those into everything else that you're doing. So I wouldn't do it step one, but I would definitely do it as soon as you possibly can, because it's a window.
So Kyle, and Tass, let me ask this, then I'll throw it to you. But what is there one platform that's more important than another?
That's a great question. And I find that every client we work with, we say, you'll find your platform. It's like, what do people gravitate to you the most on, right? And so my favorites are Instagram and then YouTube as well. So those two are my favorite, because YouTube, you have the option to flip it into long form content as well too. But Instagram is that's the beast right now. That's the one that people are using as that second website that we're talking about. Like,
would you be able to help Shane build up his MySpace?
Oh man, well is anyone using that still? I don't know. I'll look into it.
Okay. Hey, and then real quick, and then Task, stay unmuted. You're quiet. It's quiet, but can you put it in a business name, or does it have to be in a personal name?
Great question. I really like this question, but people tend to connect with people more than they connect with brands, especially on a social content, right? So it's social media. So the more social you can be in that sense, the better. So you will have 10 times the results in going through a personal than you will through a business. However, once you have them at your personal, you funnel them to your business, you funnel them to your courses. That's the beauty of it, is now it becomes you're the pillar and that you can send it wherever you want to, right? So if it's way easier to get here and then direct here, that's the path I'd rather take instead of going straight there, right? But then also too, like, if you ever were to sell your school, if you ever were to, pivot and go a different direction or open us, like, you don't want to sell, have worked so hard and invested to build a brand that will last you, until your old age, and give that with the school when you sell it. You want to be able to direct that crowd that you have had so much trust built up with for years and years in order to do it wherever it is. So contrary to popular belief, I do not think that it slows down growing your school page by growing your personal. From my experience, it actually speeds it up because it allows people to actually connect with you and who you are and get to know you. And ultimately, the entire gym culture should be based around you anyway, right? Like, it's the people you've hired, the people you've trained, the culture that you instill in your school, that if you can now broadcast that on a big enough level to where that gets people in the door, they'll experience that everywhere else too.
Gotcha. Tass, go ahead.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask about, doing a brand versus doing a person, right? So that answers that question. The second question is, you've worked with a lot of jiu-jitsu schools, and and I'm not asking for the secret sauce or maybe to give away anything that you don't want to give away, but speak to this is a kids karate school. They predominantly teach kids, or taekwondo, or whatever the case may be. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, that might be a lot. You have adults in the BJJ world that are on Instagram that are consuming the information, hitting the likes, doing all the stuff. But in the kids karate world, the mom, right, or the dad, typically the mom, is the buyer, right? But you also have to get the kids inspired to actually want to do this. So how do you, are you hitting two different demographics? Like, you're trying to hit the kids on TikTok to get them inspired, and then you're working with and does this work in that environment, I guess, is the question.
That's a great question. And then to answer that, I would say that actually huge misconception is that it's just the kids that are on TikTok, right? The moms are there too now. Their moms on Instagram and on Facebook and across the board there as well, right? And so it does play back to where it's like, it's the same people who are looking into you. It's like, if I'm like, I'm going to trust this guy with my kids, does he know he's talking about? What's the foundation? Like, that is there. If it's overly specific niche, I would say that reaching a broad audience in your category probably is not the best move for you. Like, why would you want to do that, right? Like, we do kids karate for kids who are just crawling and they can't even walk yet, and they're doing so if it's like super categorically, like, this is all we do, which is, in my experience, is generally not what that does. That might be a sub segment of what it is, but the broader, when you hit the masses, you get the targeted as well too, right? So I think a lot of people are only trying to get the target, and organic content kind of flips that a little bit on its head. Whereas with ads, you're trying to get a certain target, right? But if you could go broader, you get way more data, which ends up getting you more of that exact target at the same time. So if it's insanely niche down to where, we basket weave with our left hand while we do karate with our right, or something like remarkably crazy, no, I don't think this would help you at all. But that's generally not where people are. People are generally, this is our category, even we do multiple of this. And the thing is that the category is only growing, right? And so we're in a heyday of it's just getting started right now. Even though it's been around a long time, as far as its transition over to social is actually very new in the game. So the broad audience hits the targeted. It's not like, okay, we have to get the kids to see it and then the mom, and then it's like, normally if the kids see it and they're like, hey, I want to go with this guy, they'll show their mom, or the mom will be the one to find. It's not only the kids there, it's not only the mom, but when you get people who are interest based in the broad category, then you get great results.
So Mr. Blackman says, and I don't think so, but do you offer a service that follows up? And I don't know, Mr. Blackman follows up. Would you know what he means by follow up with what or with who?
I don't exactly understand the question. I'm guessing like if someone views, can you reach them again? There's tiers to it, right? So if someone just simply views and they leave, you can't reach them. Like the views will help your algorithm that will boost you to more people. So it's not like it's a zero off, right? You'll get other people as a result of it. There's views, likes, comments, saves, follows, right? And so the followers, yes, you can reach. You could also retarget your audience through ads that you have following you. You can build lookalike audiences after that as well, which is great. I'm sure that's stuff that you guys teach as well too. So you can retarget your audience if you have a big enough audience. And then from there, the goal isn't to just keep them on social media, right? But there's amazing automations and stuff that you can use to funnel them over to growing your email list, to funnel them over to buying your products, to do all that stuff. So it starts out top of funnel, the funnel gets more broad, and then where do you take them to from social media, which is insanely important, right? And so, yes, you'll be able to sell on social media itself. Hopefully you'll be able to have another connection as well too, and we can help you set up those automations and stuff that we're talking about. Did he just clarify his question?
Yes. How
yeah.
do we target?
Nice. Yes. So yes, you can retarget them that way. You could retarget them through paid ads of building lookalike audiences off of your traffic. Plus, you can grow your email list. And so it's the same as any other top of funnel reach. That also, it's not just top of funnel. It's top of funnel, medium of funnel at the same time. So yeah, you can retarget them just like you can with any other thing along those lines. But the added benefit you have, if you run a retargeting ad, that's great, but you don't also brand build, you don't also social proof, you don't also, if you're not doing it this way that we're talking about through social media. So it has the added bonus of you're really getting both at the same time.
So Kyle, you said your favorite platform is Instagram, but what are the platforms? Instagram?
So what we do is when we create content, we distribute it across Instagram, TikTok, Facebook Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And so we have a post for each person going out every single day across those 4 platforms. And that just gives the videos enough, like a huge opportunity to be seen. Because you may be a YouTube guy. I like to consume on Instagram. Like, people consume different ways. And ideally, and that's been in any niche, someone who teaches, generally the problem when it comes online is I want to teach the way I want to teach, instead of I want to teach in a way that you want to consume. So when you can kind of divide it and you have multiple distribution channels, it's now no longer saying, hey, I taught this, you come to YouTube if you want. It's now saying, hey, wherever you're at, I'm going to be providing value in the niche.
So Kyle, if somebody wanted to just get more information or learn more about, here's the thing that I'm hearing, right? By the way, if you want to reach me, I'm Mets 2000 at AOL. That's me. Thank you, Tass. So, yes, I'm way behind. Okay? So that's number. Have you heard of AOL? You're kind of young, Kyle. Have you heard of AOL?
That'll be easy for Cal to double your following.
Yeah,
Get you from one to 2.
You know what? I'll follow you, and then it'll double. It'll be perfect.
That's right.
But here's my point to that. The point is, I'll never forget 20 years ago, maybe, and I don't know, but it had to be 20, maybe more, whatever, when somebody came in to my school and said, hey, do you know about websites? You really should have a website, because this is how people are going to find you. As I had my phone book sitting on my desk, right? And we would pay to put ads in the phone book. And and I remember at the time, I'm like, I don't even know what a website. I mean, what do you mean? What do? You type in this www. I mean, what are you talking about? My point is there's an evolution, and people can choose in business to accept it or not. But regardless, it's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. And who knew of TikTok a few years ago, or even Facebook a little longer ago? I mean, it was just foreign, this stuff. But now everybody knows, whether you like it or not, everybody's heard of it, right? Everybody knows of it. And so I think the industry needs to understand that we need to pay attention if we want to continue to have an edge, in our market. And, however important it is today, we don't know if it's going to be even more important tomorrow, or where this is going. But if you want to hear more information or get educated, I'm talking to the industry, where do they go to just learn more about you?
Yeah, well, first of all, what you said, if we don't know what it will be in the future, like if it will be even more important, I would argue we do know that it will be more important in the future, because you could look at every single other industry, It's only gotten more social. It hasn't gotten less, right? And for anyone who's out there who's like, hey, I don't understand the value of even growing on, so like, I don't understand it. I've been a martial artist for my entire life. I've had a gym for a long time. Haven't needed this. Why do I need it now moving forward? And it's like, it seems like, is this a corny thing or is this a trend? Like what's going on here? I don't understand it. Social media is not much different than what does everyone say the best kind of client is a referral, right? Like, or the best kind of marketing is if you can get a referral from someone. This is just referral at scale, right? It's how do people work? How do you provide value to them in a way that they want to tell others, that they want to send it to their friends, that they want to show everyone else, right? So that's all that this is. And like, if you simplify it in your mind of like, it's not some futuristic tech thing. No, it's just a scaled version of what you're already doing, but reaching masses and masses and masses and getting your message in front of them, right? So you do need that. So where can you go to find more information? Well, I'll tell you the exact formula of what you can do on your own. First of all, right here in a second, if you want to reach me, it's either Kyle@peopletrendy.com, PeopleTrendy.
Hold on. You want to post that? All right, we're going to post that up.
I'll give you a little thumbnail. No. So yeah, you can do there. You can send me an email or just find me on Instagram, Kyle Craichy, KyleCraichi, and send me a message and I'll get back to you there and we can chat there here. But for anyone there who wants to, whether you're signing with us, whether like that's not really what I'm talking about right now, is that you, wherever you are, need to take advantage of this window. Like social media isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to continue to grow. And the ones that did not start in this window right now will look back with regret when they have the people that are around that have these hundreds of thousands and millions of followers that are paying attention to them. It's like at that point, it will be too late to catch up. But right now you can do it. And so I'll give you a little bit of a formula on what to follow right now that you can do at home. And this is the same formula that we use. We just have it like to a T perfected. But first of all, give people value that they're already looking for, right? You don't need to teach the most advanced, move that you've ever learned. And a lot of times, if you're a teacher in any industry, something that you learned, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, doesn't seem relevant. You seem like everyone knows this. No, people don't know this. Like we said, these are the jiu-jitsu's second fastest growing sport in the country right now. The amount of new people that have just joined in the last month, let alone the last 10 years since you've learned those things, they don't know these. So if you can stick to the basics that people are needing to learn and then advance from there instead, you don't need to be, oh, wow, I don't want to teach because there's other people who know more than me. That's not what it's about. You're not teaching the best. You're teaching people who want to improve, right? To where you're at. That's the whole value exchange of what's going on. So doing that, what is already working, right? And I'll give you the answer. Short form video content right now is what's working.
What is short? What is considered short?
Sure. Sub 1 minute. Like you could argue just over, but I would say under 1 minute is a short form video, right? Even under 30 seconds is great. But if anyone who's on social media, you have YouTube, right? Which is the classic, can do however long you want to. But the vertical videos are what all social media algorithms are copying, right? They're trying to get the same algorithm, and TikTok started this. But it's Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and then Facebook just came out with Facebook Reels, which is just short form, under a minute, vertical videos. They're all pushing that. And the beauty is they push that to people beyond your audience, right? So in the past, if I do a YouTube video, my subscribers will see it. But with short form, they're no longer like, oh, this guy's not subscribed, I'm not going to show it to them. What they're doing is, hey, who is interested in this type of video? I'm going to show it to them. And that's why you're getting viral growth, is because if the video is good, they're going beyond your audience and to an audience that likes what you're talking about. And then that filters them in. So that's the best way to grow. So now, what makes a good short form video? That's a different question, right? So first of all, we talked about a little bit earlier, the hook, right? The first 3 seconds of the video, it's what people see and it's what people hear when they do it. So what are you saying in that time? So you can take something super boring. Hey, here's an Americana that I like to do from Side Control. Like, no one's going to watch that video. They're going to keep scrolling. But hey, this secret Americana tip will revolutionize your jiu-jitsu game. Like, it's like, okay, now you can see, and the difference is this one will get 200 views, this one will get 50,000 views, right? So like it's not just like, oh, it's a little bit better. It's either failure or massive success, especially in this window that we're talking about right now. So what hooks are other people using that are doing it successfully on social media? And that's what you get when you just do research. Who are the people in your niche, in jiu-jitsu, in martial arts, in Muay Thai, that are doing a good job, and say, oh man, they said it this way, I'm going to do the same thing. And don't copy the video, but the hooks, like we call it trend jacking, the thing that they say. If you can do that and then do it the way you want to, you'll massively separate yourself from the competition right there. And then, like we talked about, so now you have a good subject, the hook that you're going to say at the beginning. You film a video, you keep it short form, and you post on those short form platforms. Already you're miles beyond everything else. And then from there, it's just, okay, how do I do it a little bit better quality, a little bit better of the audio, a little bit better of a demonstration, a little better of a hook? How can I improve this kind of stuff? And so that's what we do. So is we come and we're like, okay, this is what's working, exact structure, here's how to do it. Put your spin on what you want to teach about this subject. We'll ensure that your quality is blowing everyone else away. We'll ensure that you're having the correct energy on camera. So then it can get as deep and sophisticated as you want. But at a bare bones minimum, if you can be like, first create short form video, do a good hook, you will be miles ahead of all your competition. You're going to see some pretty incredible growth.
Well, we got some questions coming in here. Do you target demographic or globally, and which is more effective to get new students?
This is a great question. So to get new students, obviously local is better. Unless you have an online course, then it doesn't matter. Now, social media, you do reach a global audience. However, the social medias favor like your geotag in your region, right? So if you're an American creating in English, it will show you to America way before it will show you anything international. So it's like drastically different. You can reach people outside of that bubble even, but that's like the vast majority is in your region where they start out with. And if it does there, it'll keep expanding. But to get new students in your door, obviously someone in, England doesn't help you much. But if you're, and that could be even argued locally, like LA does not help New York per se for that reason, except for the travel and the camps. And now it becomes on how you structure your offer, how you structure what it is you're doing through courses, through sponsorships, through all of that.
And somebody said information videos or soliciting videos with offers?
Very good question as well. Well, so goes back to the first thing of, remember, you do not grow unless you are providing value. And for me, if I'm like, hey, this is my product, buy my product, buy it, like that gives you no value, right? Until you buy it. So no, that's the difference when it comes to social media. If I do an insane product video commercial and it will not do anything good. Why? It could have been a great video, but it didn't provide value. So all the videos, I say, you make a standalone value providing videos, and then you have a call to action on the end. Oftentimes at the beginning, it's just like, hey, follow me for more value, follow me for more jiu-jitsu tips, follow me for more Muay Thai tips. And then as you grow that community, now it's, hey, by the way, I have a free online program that, how to escape this, or it's like a target, or I have a white paper, or I have a free ebook that if you just DM me your email, I'll send it to you. Now you're building the other list. So you use value providing content with a call to action that can sell in order to both grow the business and the brand. Or if you try to do one or the other will not work. So that's the best way to get that sweet spot where you're actually getting the benefit of both.
Let me say this for everybody, and then Tass, Tass, I will allow you to speak freely when you would like.
Well, I thank you.
You're welcome, my child. Two things that gave you instant credibility with me. Tass, did you pick up the two things he's done that gave him instant credibility with me, knowing me?
Well, one, he was telling people that they shouldn't do this if they're just starting their martial arts school.
That is correct. That's one. So he could have easily said, this is the best time to do this, start your school, but he didn't. He said, no, you don't want to use my company right now. So that's one. And the second thing he did, we'll never know.
He froze.
But if you don't,
wait.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? And number two, he just gave everybody the 5 or 6 things that they can go do right now to go fix their social media.
See, Kyle, I have trained this young Jedi to think like me so well that's it. I was very confident, and that is why I allowed him to speak,
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
those are the
Thank
two
you.
things.
Thank you for texting me the answers before. I appreciate that you texted me those so I knew what they were.
Those are the two things that really gave you credibility. You just told everybody how to do it. This is stuff that Shane and I do. We'll tell we've been doing this show for 7 years, 8 years, eight years probably, and we will tell people how to do it. The problem is, Kyle, as you know, people just don't go out and do it. And I said it at the beginning of this. They want things easy. It's human nature. People just want to focus on what they want to do. And in this case, it's I want to teach martial arts.
Yeah.
I want to train in martial arts. I didn't sign up to open a martial arts school to learn how to be a marketing genius or a social media maverick. You do that for me, right? But you just told them how to do it. So some people can take that, research it a little more, and start putting out content. You told them they'll go light years ahead of their competition. So I really appreciate that. And Mr. Blackman, he will have a booth at the event. You can go up and talk all you want and ask any questions you want when we see him next week.
Yeah, anyone who's going to the event, I look forward to meeting you. Any questions at all you have, you could either reach me on Instagram. I'll get back to you there, or hopefully even better, meet you in person there. But no, that's the thing. Social media is not just the now, it's the future. And you could look in any other category, any other business, any other industry, and see that has been the trend for a while now, but it's clicking. And in what you're doing now, whether you're working with us or not, follow those steps. Because if you're a new jiu-jitsu school, quite frankly, it's not the best dollar spend that you can be doing, right? Like you had just said. But it is the best long-term dollar spend, in my opinion, right? Because when you have a brand, everything, now it's not about going to other people, they start coming to you, right? When brands are like, shoot, I want to sponsor you, I want to do this, can you please promote me to this? I'll pay you this much. Hey, can you fly out to here? I'll pay you this much to give a speech, to talk at my convention, to do this teaching. Like, I know how many doors it opens up, and I know in this industry right now how easy it is to do right now. And I know it's simple, but not easy, right? It's a simple process, and then perfected is what separates you from, the top level to the bottom level. So if you're just starting your jiu-jitsu school, I can't encourage you to do this enough. Don't overthink it. Use your phone, camera. Those are good as well right now. And then as you're like, okay, now I want to really separate myself, that's when you should come to us, where we're like, okay, now we're going to take you to the next level. We know exactly what hooks are working the best. We know exactly the video styles. We know exactly the hashtags. We know exactly how to reach your ideal audience. And the path that we've rinsed and repeat so many times before, we can plug into you and your business in order to get you to be the next person that has hundreds of thousands, of followers across the platform, growing your brand, growing your business, all the products that you offer, not even just inside the four walls of your school.
Yeah, no, great stuff. I appreciate it. And great information. Tass, any other questions?
I'm just processing here, and I'm wondering how many people are really listening to this and thinking, and I've got questions too, but now he's got my head spinning, which I'm excited to talk to you next week. But you want to be the authority in your area, but you're sitting here talking about how to get moms to come in and sign their 7-year-old kid up. Well, what about the administrators that may be watching, the teachers, the principals, the PTA, the PTO, and you can't crack in and get into the school system, and now all of a sudden you're all over their Instagram, their TikTok, and you happen to be local, it will be way easier for you to crack, because now you've got the credibility, way easier for you to crack into those schools, and they know who you are before you ever even get there. So there's some cool stuff.
Another guy who we worked with to grow him from 12,000 to almost 200,000 was Kenny Kim. And so I remember, when we started with him, he grew super quickly. First, 3 or 4 months, we went out to Vegas for Worlds that year, and so I was actually there with him filming for something else, and he got stopped by 47 people that asked for photos. So it wasn't that he recognized by 47 people actually hey, I know you from Instagram, I know you from TikTok. Can I please take a photo with you? Can I please? And everywhere I go now, anyone who does jiu-jitsu, I think it's even more than a 50-50 chance that someone's known Maliki or known Matt when I mention their names. I love that guy. He's helped me with this. He's helped me with that. And it doesn't matter where in the country that we're finding it. And that is a brand that most other industries would kill for, right? And TikTok in general, like that was the whole thing that brought people to them, is like, hey, if you go create there right now, you will go viral, you will grow, you will get a massive brand. This is 3 to 4 years ago, right? Now it's way, 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 way harder because that window is a little bit past. So I keep saying this because I'm like, hey guys, it's a red alert time to whether you're doing it by yourself or you're bringing us on board. Now is the time to get there. And if you don't do it this window, it can be very, very difficult to be able to do this in 2 years and 3 years later when it gets more convenient. No, right now is the time to do it. Anyone who does will be very glad that they did. And then anyone who doesn't will look back and regret. I can promise you that.
Where are you located?
I'm in Orlando, Florida, but we fly all over and travel. So.
All right, very good. Well, how come you haven't been to my office yet?
Where are you guys based? Are you in Orlando as well?
We're in Orlando.
Okay, well, where's the invite? And I'm there.
That was it. It was subtle, but that was it.
I picked up on the subtle. I was like, let's make this a full official avert thing. No, we'd love to for sure.
Our corporate offices are in Avalon Park.
Okay, amazing. I'm in like a Dr. Phillips-ish area.
Okay, so West Side.
Yes.
Yeah. We're East Side.
East Side.
Yeah. Wrong side.
Hey, we appreciate you. Oh, Tampa. There you go. Well, Mr. Lou.
There we go. Lou, come on.
Hopefully he's there next week at All Systems Go. But hey, great information. I mean, this is a little foreign land for me. So and then videos that are shot from my iPhone for Instagram should be shot vertically.
I would. We generally shoot everything vertically because it just makes the whole process easier. And like we said, those are what the algorithms are promoting. So I would do that. And then if you wanted to do some longer form or podcast or that kind of thing for YouTube, great, you can do that horizontally. But with these tactics that I'm sharing here today, I would do everything vertically.
Interesting. Great info. Great info, sir. Thanks again. And by the way, everybody, if you want more information, here is how you can get in touch. There's a couple ways here. We just put it up there. You have that. You have Instagram.
Yeah. So my Instagram is that name, Kyle Craichy. Sweet. Yep. Yeah. Just search my name there and send me a message. I look forward to connecting with you guys and really helping you grow your businesses, your brands, and really making a dent with what it is that you do.
Well, we'll catch up. We'll catch up as well next week. We'll see you next week, Kyle.
Yeah.
And thanks again for coming on, sir.
I really appreciate it, guys. It's been a good time. Hey, safe drive, safe travel, get to your destination safely without us.
Hey, thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate you. And I look forward to meeting you next week as well.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Thank you, guys.
God
Take
bless.
care.
All right, everybody. Thanks. Bye-bye, Tim.